What is up, guys? I do hope you're well, and welcome to another Entitled Parents. I'd like to say a massive thank you for all the support you've given me recently. It's been absolutely amazing. If you haven't yet, come follow us on Twitter. You can see it right there, and I'd love to have you. I post a couple of memes daily, all that kind of good stuff, so come join us. And let's get started. Usually see posts about entitled mothers. Strap in, boys. Having followed this stuff for quite a while, I'm surprised this story didn't come to my mind sooner. I apologise in advance for the shite formatting. I'm on mobile and too hungover to get the whole meter over to the computer. So, for some context, I'm 6'9", 2.1 metres. Really friendly British guy, and at the time I was 19 and working in the room service department of a prestigious 5-star hotel in Sydney. Was working on holiday. Well said room service department was also responsible for restocking and charging of the minibar in 565 rooms. They would only assign 3 people to do all 36 floors between 9 to 4. So as you can imagine, it was pretty stressful. I've worked in hospitality for nearly 7 years, but this biblical bell end still never ceases to amaze me. It was around 4 PM and I was rushing to get finished. I had a stayover room that I needed to check because it had been resolved yesterday, so I followed procedure. I ring the bell 3 times and I knock calling minibar and get no response. I open the door and walk around the corner as the minibar in that room was set up was in some cupboards right next to the door. I hear a TV on as I'm checking stuff and then leave around the corner of the room and I see a young lad, about 6 or 7 years old, who doesn't notice me. As soon as I spot him, I start to quietly leave, but enters entitled dad, a very angry, hungover looking Australian. "What the F do you think you're doing in my room?" Me trying to defuse the situation. "My sincerest apologies, sir. I was here to check the minibar and I didn't realise that." "I'm not using the minibar, you dumb funt. Who the F do you think you are? I've had 3 of you funts come in here without me opening the door." I later found out maintenance come to fix the TV he complained was broken, and housekeeping for the turn down service before I entered. Me, taking a more casual tone. "I'm sorry fella, I was just trying to do my job. I didn't mean to." Entitled dad getting into my face. "And is your job trying to come into my room to take away my little boy? You effing pedo. I'll get you effing sacked." At this point, I see this man has absolutely no voice of reason, so I turn to open the door and leave, and he tries to shove me out and slams the door against me. Now, although I'm a big guy, I'm a gentle giant and I wouldn't hurt a soul, so I'm pretty shaken up and go back down to speak with my supervisor. I explain what happened to him, and a few minutes later, entitled dad calls to making a complaint. They comped his minibar bills, as they always do with any complaint, but my supervisor told me that I did nothing wrong and accused him of abusing staff. I didn't hear anything from there, so I'm sorry if this came to an untimely end. Oh my god, but like the entitled dad accusing of being a pedo when he's just trying to do his job. I mean, what's he going to do with a child in the hotel? Come on, man. Entitled mother tries to get us to illegally give her drugs. First time posting on here, but after reading all these stories, I feel like I should share this. E, entitled mother, me, and P, pharmacist. So I work at a pharmacy in Australia, so the laws here might be different elsewhere. And as a result, you get people who are kinda crazy for their drugs. I work the front of shop and sometimes in dispensary, so I don't know the full ins and outs about giving medication because it's not my job and I don't have a degree in it. However, I do know that we classify Ritalin as an S8 drug, which is the medication that is basically a huge risk and known to be addictive. We literally keep a locked box with an alarm and the keys are kept in a safe until the pharmacist needs to get them to fulfill a prescription. Also, for people who don't know, Ritalin is a medication often prescribed to people on the autism spectrum. It can help with a variety of problems. Again, not a pharmacist, so can't tell you the ins and outs. And often people use it to control their kids, which brings us to EM. It's Saturday and I'm pretty bored. I'm hanging around the back of the store, near the dispensary and putting away stock. This is when I see EM walk up. She's all sweet and smiling at our pharmacist, making idle conversation as she hands in her script, which I kind of think she was hoping would distract the pharmacist from seeing the date. EM sits down to wait, but that's when the problem arises because her script is expired. "I'm sorry miss, but this script is expired. I legally cannot fill it out. Do you have another one?" Lady leaps up to her feet and stalks up to the pharmacist's counter. "I'm sorry, but it shouldn't be, so could you please just fill out the script?" Pharmacist begins to explain in detail that she cannot do that legally because this drug is so strictly controlled and needs to be prescribed. "No, no, no!" She literally screams this out in the middle of the pharmacy. "You need to make up the script right now. I will not deal with my son without it." Pharmacist begins looking at me with help me eyes and I sort of slide up behind there just to make sure everything's alright. And to be honest, This is prime entertainment. I'm sorry, but I can't give you the medication. Why not? I need it for my son, so you need to give it me right now. If you don't, I will bring him into the store and leave him here. You can deal with him, and then you'll be throwing medication at me. I can't give you the medication. If it's super urgent, I can try and call the specialist or something. Ian collapses on the counter and then begins slamming her fists against it. No, just give it me. You don't understand, I need it. Give me the doctor's details. Ian wails at this and collapses onto a chair and begins to scream and cry. She refuses to move and just sits there howling. She refuses to give us any information on her doctor. We could have looked at the script, but she managed to howl out that she'd changed doctors since then. Pharmacist literally ignores her and begins to fill out other people's scripts while this woman sits there crying. She threatens to call the police on us, threatens to call the head of the company and complain. I think she even mentions like the Pharmacy Guild of Australia, but she doesn't call it that exactly. It takes her about an hour to finally give up and storm off, never to be seen again and without bringing her child to haunt us. Now we just laugh how crazy she was, but at the time she was pretty concerning. She sounds like it, I mean, Jesus Christ. Banging on the desk, screaming there, sitting there for an hour. So I'm assuming that Ritalin was for her. If people get addicted to it, maybe she was on it. And I don't know. I've heard of like people with autism taking Ritalin and stuff, but yeah. Oh boy, I got a new one. So if you guys remember me, you'll know I have a Nirvana hoodie. Here is another one about it. So on Saturday, I was watching a car exhibition with my dad and younger brother. It's a common thing in Ireland. So I was wearing the fabled Nirvana hoodie with my Led Zeppelin shirt, listening to music like Linkin Park, Train, AC/DC, Metallica, etc. My dad went to the shop with my brother. That's when we entered the Sandman. I mean EM. Cast, me, John Cena. EM, entitled Maggot. BC, Broken Condom. And D, Dad. Mummy, he's wearing those evil bands. Don't worry, honey, I'll get rid of him. She taps my shoulder. How dare you wear those evil bands? I wasn't expecting that, so I turned around to see this small bitch yelling at me. I think she was going for an everybody clap moment, but failed. And also, I'm a very tall 13-year-old, so I didn't feel intimidated. I paused my music, but unfortunately she just saw my music, War Pigs, and yelled, "Stop! You're corrupting my son with that devil music." I'm sorry you think that, and I believe in God as well, but that doesn't change musical preferences or opinions. Your parents probably treated you badly. Miss, can you leave my son alone? What he listens to is his choice, not yours or anyone's. Now, my dad is a very nice guy, but he takes no shit. Well, you should try and do something about him. My son has got really good scores in his test, so I don't want him ruined by the likes of you. Miss, I don't want to sound rude, but I don't give a shit. Neither do I. EM knew she lost and walked off. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Now, I don't know if that's a what has happened one. There's like too much stuff that happens in one story that you see on there, entitled Parents, but yeah, whatever. EK complains about killing animals in Minecraft and then tries to take it. I ignore them. Okay, so yesterday I posted a story about my 3DS XL, an entitled kid, and I got 200 likes, so I'm going to tell you another story about my phone, Samsung Note 9. I was waiting for my bus, and then this child and his dad, EK and ED, came and sat right next to me. I was playing Minecraft Pocket Edition, Minecraft over Fortnite, and I was just in creative, goofing around, spawning a bunch of llamas and killing them. Cruel, I know, but I was just messing around. That's cruel! What are you doing? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I'll stop. Entitled kid starts wailing about how I'm being cruel. He looked about 9, so I don't know if he was being overdramatic or was genuinely shocked. Sorry? Let me have a go. Let me have a go. Let me have a go. I ignore him and says to him, "Hey, your kid is being annoying to me and yelling at me." What? I repeat what I just said. Well, he's just a kid. Chill out. She actually said this, like Karen, excuse me, what the fuck? He's annoying me. Tell him to stop, please. I don't really care. He's just a kid. Okay, whatever. I then went back to my phone and went off Minecraft, in case I offended him, and started playing a game called Fill. In this game, you have to fill random shapes. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but EM looks over at my phone and she looks triggered. What is that? It's a game. That's crazy. That's some brainwashing shit. Brainwashing? It's the government. They're trying to control you. Turn it off. Nah, I'll continue playing my game. Oh, I see. You're autistic. I see. I bet you're vaccinated. That's it. Your parents should be ashamed. I just walked away to another seat and she yelled at me about how I'm going to die and I should be ashamed. Was she threatening me? I don't know. EK then runs up to me and asks for my phone. I just ignored him, and when he kept asking and I didn't respond, he started screeching and tried to take it from me, so I shoved him away and he ran away shrieking. He then told his mum I'd beat him up. Bitch, what? And she screamed how my generation is horrible and we're going to let the world die. Nothing else happened. She just shouted until she realised I was ignoring her, and then she gave me loads of death glares. Why do older generations complain about younger generations being incompetent? Even if we are, which I wouldn't say we were, that's their fault for being bad parents to us. 19-foot wide EM demands that I be arrested, then she tries to steal my skis. Sup story, obligatory ravioli warning, butterfingers. Shit list, EK, you're so smart, figure it out. EK2, entitled kid 2, EDM, entitled drunk mother, me, an entire Jewish deli, girlfriend, the Jewish deli worker. Today, I and my girlfriend went skiing. Yum, ice. It's late right now, and I don't know what I'm posting, other than these stupid kids, so bear with me. I was put into a beginner's class, because being the southern biscuit loving youth I am, I've never skied. My girlfriend was also a beginner. We started out learning how to do the motions without our skis. The kids next to me were very loud, and asked the instructor lots of questions. Eventually I told them to keep quiet and listen. They called their drunk ass entitled mother over, and she said to leave her kids alone. I told her that I only told them to listen, so she went back to the bar. These lessons were expensive. Now we were learning how to get on our skis. This took the entitled kids some time, because they couldn't figure out how to push a button down. Now this was fine, I had trouble at first, but they took a solid 15 minutes before swallowing their dignity and asking the instructor how. I was pretty good, and I eventually went down the mountain, but before that I had to learn how to get on the lift. Now this wouldn't have been bad if the entitled kids had not skied in front of me and fallen and cried for 15 minutes, closing the lift and getting their 19-foot long sized mum to come comfort them. On her waddle, she pushed me down, as well as my girlfriend. This made me mad. I stormed over to her. I towered over her despite being 5'11". I tapped her on the shoulder. Ma'am, if you're going to run, watch where you're going. You did this. Entitled mother turns to the chairlift operator. This man pushed my kids. He should be arrested for assault and sexual harassment. Look, I didn't touch you or your kids. I asked you to watch where you're going. Now please, let's just stop. No, that's sexual assault. Officer! She called the chairlift operator officer. Look lady, please move your kids and yourself so we can start the chairlift again. No, not until this man is arrested and placed in jail so he can never touch me or my children again. Look, you're wasted lady. Let's go back to the bar now. Mom, we want you here with us. Wait 1 second, teddy bears. These kids were not teddy bears. They were comparable to slugs. Please, just move so we can use the lessons we all paid for. No, not until you're placed in jail or at least have a restraining order. Mom, leave now. Take your kids too. No, no, no. The chairlift operator phoned security. Entitled mother goes on a rant how it's racist that just because she's white she's getting worse treatment than us. I'm white too. Entitled mother is dragged by security and her 2 brats follow. The second security guard tells me to go with them to talk to the freaking police. Mom, I want skis. Alright. Entitled mother turns to security. Excuse me, we'll be taking these skis because you've been nothing but racist and rude towards us. No ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises. Fine. Entitled mum waddles down the hill while her kids follow. Security easily catches up to her and tells her to wait by me. Hey, I'm so sorry I said you're a racist. Now please can I have your skis so my entitled kid can be happy? I'm fed up at this point. No, these are rentals, leave me alone or I'll press charges. Don't know if I can, but it certainly scared her. We sat in silence until the cops arrived. I checked in with my family and girlfriend after I made my statement. I'm not pressing charges because it isn't anything substantial. And yes, me and my girlfriend are fine, just a bit shaken by her nerve. Thanks for reading my story about the runaway 19-foot wide sandwich of a mother that accused me of racism. Jesus Christ. You know, these entitled parent stories get harder to believe, but I can see some sort of, I could actually see this one happening, you know. Jesus Christ. I just got this picture of a massive woman running down a ski hill. EP leaves child in retail store thinking it's a free daycare. Obligatory apologies for a mobile format, but English is my first language, so that's a bonus. I work in a tech-based retail store. It's a flagship in London and we're hella busy all the time. We have both sales and repairs. I work on the repair side of things. We also have free training sessions in store, so teaching people how to use our products, and have kids hours as well, so it's appealing for the whole family. We often get a lot of EPs leaving their kids and going off shopping, which we absolutely do not allow, as we're responsible for anyone in those sessions. But they often get a slap on the wrist and realise what they did was wrong. But today's EP takes the cake. I don't know all the details as I didn't deal with her firsthand, but this is what I know from the grapevine, some first-hand account. I'm supporting sales for day. As customers go through sales first before repairs, they usually have questions about repairs that sales can't answer. That's where I come in. I noticed a colleague in really deep conversation with this young kid. Can't be older than 7 to 8. And I don't think much of it. Until an hour later the same kid is still talking to a member of staff. He doesn't seem to be with anyone. I don't think anything of it until this morning. We've just opened up and lo and behold, this kid is back talking to more staff. A lot of us recognise him because of his really bright yellow jacket he was wearing, and we were a bit suspicious. One of the senior staff goes over to chat to him to find out what's the deal. It turns out the kid's mum had dropped him off at the store and is going out for the day with friends. He tells us she aims to pick him up by 8, as she did yesterday. 2 issues with this. It's Sunday, we close at 6. Number 2, what the absolute living fuck? Now this part is blurry, as I was in appointments the whole time and only witnessed the end. One of the managers attempt to get some information from the kid, as we're not liable for him. We need to contact the dearest mother and get her ass back here for her kid, but the child doesn't know her number, nor does he have a phone on him. Manager has left no choice but to call the police, that also contact Child Protective Services. Not sure if they had to in cases of abandonment or what, that's just what I was told. Police show up and talk to the boy, no idea what happened here, but by some miracle, they are able to contact Mumzilla, and then shit hits the fan. Turns out she was having a lovely time halfway across London, and she's pissed that someone called the police on her son. She eventually gets to the store screaming like a banshee about how dare we interrupt her day. This is kinda how it went. Paraphrasing as again, I wasn't there. EP, you know the drill. Manager. Why did you call the police on my son? He was perfectly fine playing with the phones. Mum, this is a retail store. It's private property and not a daycare centre. We're not responsible for your child. Well, he's been here lots of times and no one's ever complained. It's your job to look after customers. We're here to serve and support, not babysit. What if your child was abducted? How dare you threaten something like that on my son? I will take you to court for negligence. I'm pretty sure abandonment is negligence. All this was said in front of a police officer, which was wonderful. They were both escorted outside and we began the process of banning them from the store. No idea what will happen to the woman or her son. Maybe next time hire a sitter instead of dropping him off with us. Jesus Christ. The poor child though, that she thinks it's okay to just leave the kid there and go out for the day shopping around London. Jesus Christ, man. And then get upset that they said, what if he got abandoned? And she's like, it's a threat. Piece of shit mum steals my little brother's bike because someone stole her kid's bike. I already posted this on I'm a Total Piece of Shit, but I think it belongs here too. My little brother has always been absolutely obsessed with things with wheels, especially cars, but at this time we were both in elementary school, so a bike was all he could ride. He had a really nice bike at the time, which was his prized possession because my parents were pretty poor when we were kids and they couldn't afford much. My little brother loved to work on his bike and add little things to it as if it was a car. He put a new seat on it, painted it, added pegs, anything to make it better because he loved to modify his belongings and still does to this day. He's 18 now and adds all sorts of mods to his car with the money from his Pep Boys job, but at the time he had to save up very limited money from doing small chores for my parents. So when we were still in elementary school, my brother had to stay after class to get extra tutoring. He left school late every day and rode home on his bike, but one day while he was trying to leave after his tutoring, a horrific woman stopped him. She told my brother that the bike he was on was her son's and that he stole it from him, which was complete bullshit because my brother personalised his bike like no other and he would never steal. My brother was just a scared little kid and he was all alone since he was leaving school so late, so this beast of a woman bullied him into giving his bike. She took his bike and loaded it into her pickup truck and then she drove away. My poor little brother was found by school staff bawling his eyes out in front of the school. He told them what happened and they immediately called my mum. She was pissed. My mum don't take shit from anyone when it comes to her kids. You could practically see the steam coming from her ears. My mum called the police because the school security cameras caught this horrible woman's plates on camera. My mum went to this woman's house accompanied by the police, and she described every detail about the bike, even the small rip on the seat. And she even showed them developed pictures that my brother took of his bike with our disposable camera. Ordered by the police, the woman showed us where the bike was, and my mum loaded it into the car and took it home. But I never knew what happened to her after that, since my mum never looked into it after she got the bike back. I have 4 siblings, but my mum has always had all our backs no matter what. She's a badass, and I have lots of stories about her, but this is one of my favourites. It's still hard to believe an adult would steal from a defenceless little kid, with no shame for themselves at all. You know, I would have believed that before getting into this subreddit, but yeah, entitled parents are pieces of shit. Anyway guys, thank you so much as always. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.